Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision 2025 related video here on my channel, and another sort of reaction video as well, because right now I'm about to listen for the first time to snippets of all of the songs in contention for Serbia, with regards to the upcoming edition of the ESC, which as we all know will take place this May in Basel, Switzerland. As always, you're welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always there are links in the description to my other social media pages, check them out if you so wish. So I have some details in front of me to make sure I don't forget anything too important. Serbia's national final, Pesma za Evroviziju 25, will begin on February the 25th with the first semi-final. The second semi-final is on February the 27th. The final is on March the 1st. All three shows will be in Belgrade. There's 30 acts in the full lineup. 16 will be involved in the final, and the voting system is going to be a 50-50 combination of jury and public voting. There was a submission period towards the end of last year. It was then extended by a little while, and by the end of the submission period, the broadcaster RTS had received 222 entries. There are quite a few returning names. I'm going to be checking out a recap of all of these songs in just a moment's time, but the lineup we've known for a number of weeks. It is as follows, and you'll have to forgive my pronunciations here. We have Alt Control with Mamurna Jutra, Anna and the Changes with Brinem, Biber with Dami Sevratish, Bojana and David with Shesto Chulo, Dusan Kurtic with Boginia, Shetvega with Roller Coaster, Filari with Meet and Greet, Gifts and Roses with Do Kraja Vremena, Harem Girls with Aladdin, Igor Simic with Nemogu, Iskas with Trendsetter, Ivana Sturbac with La La La, Jelena Pajic with Chameleon, Kruz Rudi with Sve Odma, Maja Nikolic with Šali Srce Moje, Mila with Gaia, Milan Nikolic featuring Chaka with Storia del Amor, Mimi Mercedes, perhaps the one to beat on name alone, with Turbo Shurka, Nastasia Kojic with Up and Down, Nikola Antonievich Anton with Ugrad, Ohio with Mama, Prince with Mila, Sedlar with Ochi Boje Zemulje, Tam with Durum Durum, Tanya Banyanin with Yasambolia, Tropico Band with AI, Vampiri with Tebi Treba Neko Kauya, and Vukela with Mask. It's worth keeping an eye on definitely that Mimi Mercedes track, perhaps Milan Nikolic featuring Chaka, and also Harem Girls. Their song is co-written by former Serbian representative Sanja Vucic. If we take a look at Serbia's history in the competition briefly, their first entry as an independent country, Helsinki 2007, they won. Molitva, fantastic ballad. Maria Sherifovic, absolutely sublime. Over the past decade, we have had Bojana Stamanov with Beauty Never Lies, that was in Vienna. That finished 10th. That song is a top 10 entry in the history of the Eurovision Song Contest, which if you ask me is quite generous. But a lot of people really enjoyed it at the time, absolutely. In 2016, we had Sanja Vucic with Goodbye Shelter. There's an underrated Serbian gem. Arguably should have done a lot better that year. A great ballad, powerfully performed, with a powerful message. 18th place in the final. In 2017, Tijana Bogicevic with In Too Deep. I believe she opened the second semi-final in Kyiv that year. It was a bit of an awkward-looking performance. I'm not sure she felt totally comfortable with it. Didn't qualify. In 2018, we had Sanja Ilic and Balkanika with Nova Deca. Don't really remember too much about that one. Can't remember it being one of my favourites at all. I believe they were on after Surrey for the UK in the grand final running order. This finished 19th. In 2019, we had Nevena Bozovic, former junior Eurovision representative and also part of the girl group that represented Serbia in 2013. She was back, going solo. This was Kruna, a very fine ballad. The votes didn't really pour in. 18th place. In 2020, we had Hurricane with Hasta La Vista, this very glam-looking three-piece girl group with Sanja Vucic. Had Eurovision happened that year, this song probably would have done all right for itself, but they came back in 2021 with something not too dissimilar to what they had before. Loco Loco, 15th in the final, more of a public favourite than a jury favourite, no real surprise. Definitely quite fierce, little bit of sex appeal as well, really going for it. In 2022 we had Constractor, Incorpore Sano, 5th place in the final, massive dark horse. I wasn't so sure about it at first, I certainly appreciate it a lot more now. Sitting there on stage, washing her hands, group of people around her, all a little bit strange and cultish, but it worked, people were on board with it. In 2023, Luke Black with Samomisa Spava. Very whispery, very breathy, very bassy, very loud, a little bit chaotic, certainly quite cool and interesting, but ultimately the votes just did not pour in at all for this. 24th place in the final. And then last year in Malmö, Teodora, beautiful woman, beautiful voice, Ramonda, 17th place. No real shock there with the result. If anything, this just fell to one side. You could argue it was one of the most forgettable songs in last year's final, but it wasn't a bad song or performance, that's the thing. Anyway, what will Serbia bring to the table for 2025? So I'm going to get my notebook, and I know, you know, and the people who selected these songs know, there's 30 of them, 25 of them aren't going to be good enough. Let's not kid ourselves now, let's be realistic. The vast majority of these songs aren't going to be good enough to win. They are there to make up the numbers. They might be good, but they're not winning. And we might be able to tell that pretty quickly. And that means 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 of these songs are good enough to win, and therefore go to Eurovision. And maybe if Serbia are lucky, 1 or 2 of these songs might be good enough to win the Eurovision Song Contest. Got to be realistic about it. There's a lot of songs here. I'm going to try and get through them at a good pace. Miss your Eurovision recaps. It's just over 7.5 minutes long. What I'm watching won't be in the bottom corner of the video you're watching, but that's the way it usually is, and you might have seen this by now anyway. Deliver the goods, Serbia. Diversity, quality, no excuses. Here we go. Let me know what you think. Okay. That's a pretty good start. Bojana and David are on the list. It doesn't sound too dissimilar to what they had in the Serbian selection last year or the year before. Bojana, of course, has done Junior Eurovision. I'm liking the sound of that. It seems like a fairly ordinary pop song, but it's got a good beat, so I'll be checking it out in my own time fairly soon. Next up is Igor. Okay. Ballad, but with a bit of a dubstep beat. Okay, sounds quite pleasant. Vampiri. Okay, with all due respect, do you know what this sounds like? Imagine you're at some sort of summer fair. Everybody's mingling about, looking at the market stalls, and there's a band playing off to one side, but with all due respect, nobody's really giving them much attention at all. That's what this song reminds me of. It's not too bad, though. Natasha Kojic. I'm not too sure about the echoing effect in this song already. She's definitely got a glam look, though. You're not going on the list, though. Next up is Tropico. Okay. Very light rock, easy listening. Sounds okay, but not competitive enough. Next up is Yelena with Chameleon. Yeah, this is not too bad. Maybe not packing a lot of punch, though. Next up is Filari. Well, he's been involved before. Okay, it's a very sort of that sort of beat going on in the background. I think staging is going to play a key part with this one. Lots of flashing strobe effects, maybe. Not going on the list, though, I've got to be honest. Next up is Cruz Rudy. Okay. Fairly simplistic rock song. I'm not sure that's going to get the votes. Milan Nikolic. Okay, giving off a relatively light-hearted vibe, I would say. Not sure that's competitive enough. Anna and the Changes. Okay, a lot of people might like that one. Very relaxing, almost sleepy in terms of the sound. Yeah, okay, that's not too bad. By the way, this artwork is very impressive. I'm really enjoying that. Very Kandinsky. Yeah. Da, 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 da. Okay. Next up is Iskaz. Okay. Slightly punkish. Okay. Next up is Harem Girls. Get a load of this group. That's a lot of makeup. That is Serbia's supply of makeup on this group. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Got to be honest, I'm not sure about that. Seemingly meandered along in that snippet. No real sparkle. But maybe it builds up. Next up is Biber. Okay. Fairly easy to go along with. Light rock. Okay. Mila. Is that a trumpet? You're going on the list purely because this sounds fairly interesting to me. Okay. Next up is Anton. Oh, okay. Now we've got something a little bit more funky. There's always a few, isn't there? Oh, yes. Not too sure about that one, in all honesty. Next up is Ivana Štrbac. Oh, my God. Okay. It has to be said, Serbia are kings at this. There are so many songs with this sort of beat in the background every year without fail. This is fine. Yet Vega. Roller Coaster. His voice seems a bit quiet here. But that sounded okay. Next up is Prince, who was the runner-up, was he not, last year or the year before? Big old ballad. That could do very well. It's not too bad. Marshali. Oh, this is a very sweet little ditty. You're going on the list as well because I can appreciate that sound. Dusan Kurtic. Oh, that was super short. Okay, based on this alone, it has a little bit of groove, maybe not a whole lot else. But I will check them out in full in my own time. Tanya is next. Okay. Dated jazz. Tam. Well, that sounds a bit more up to date, doesn't it? And I think Eurovision fans, they're going to enjoy that one. Already sense it. Oh, yeah. That's one of the strongest ones here. Very promising. Gifts and Roses. Oh, this is, a little theatrical. Not sure what to make of it. Lency. Stirring stuff. Well, you know. Sedlar. Oh. Melody might be a little bit all over the place. Maya Nikolic. Okay. Little bit chant-like. Almost folkloric in sound. That might do well. Mimi Mercedes. Okay, it's like a sort of track. Yeah, that's probably going to do quite well, but I don't think it's the strongest one here based on these snippets alone. Ohio. Oxajo. Okay, that sounds like a somewhat sophisticated entry. You're on the list. Vukela. Okay. Electropop. Out Control. Sounds like an old U2 song. Okay. Well, what did I say before reacting to this video that I've just watched? 30 tracks, 25 of them probably aren't good enough. I've written down a few names, though, so it's not all bad. Bojana and David, that's got to be in with a very strong chance. Shesto Chulo. I've written down Mila with Gaia. I've written down Prince with Mila. Interesting. I've written down Marshali, one of the replacement entries, with Popolichama Sechanya. That has no chance of winning. Tam. I'm tempted to say that's the strongest one here. Durum. Yes, indeed. I've also written down Lency, the other replacement act, with Falati, and Ohio or Oxajo, however you say it, with Mama. However, I have to now think carefully. Eurovision fans will probably love one of the songs that I had no reaction to whatsoever. So let me take a look at the comments. Tam. I agree. That definitely. Mimi winner. Mimi and Tam. Harem Girls for the win. That song was a massive disappointment in that snippet alone. So many bangers. So many bangers! Steady on. Mimi Mercedes. Durum. Tam supports protests against government corruption. Well, she'll have a lot of fans then. Mimi Mercedes. Mimi. I know that she's a big name, but come on now, you're voting for the song, not the singer. Tam. Bojana and David. Vukela. Turbo Shurka is Zari bought in a second-hand shop. Whew. Harem Girls. No, I don't think so. Not for me. Not based on that snippet. Okay, well, I'm going to take a look at ESC Estonia's video very briefly. I'll only look at his... Is this just his... Oh, okay. Okay. Right. So, he's got Out Control at number 10... Harem Girls at number 9, Tam at number 8, Mimi Mercedes at number 7. Maja Nikolic at number 6, that could do well. Ivana Štrbac at number 5, okay. Vukela at number 4, yes. Bojana and David, yeah. I think that would be a safe choice. But safe might mean points. Biber at number 2, goodness me. And Lenci, I wrote down Lenci at number 1. Yeah. Well, you know, not a disaster. But again, I'm not bowled over. Is it going to be Belgrade 2026? No, it certainly isn't. But stranger things have happened. I would say Tam, Bojana and David, they're the main 2 that I'm going to be checking out first. Let me know what you think, especially if you're Serbian, and I'll be back with more Eurovision-related content very soon. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.